It's time. It's time for me to rise above the superstitious game, hit above the minds that have no skills and always stay the same. I'm on the grind to speak that real and stack up on my chain, so no matter what you say to me, cause it's time for me to rise above the superstitious game, hit above the minds that have no skills and always stay the same. I'm on the grind to speak that real and stack up on my chain, so no matter what you say to me, I'm gonna do my thing. I'm on the grind and every day I hustle for my dough, running them up just for a buck to put it up in the flow. Get my foot up in the door, it's only the beginning. I ain't never gonna stop in this race, I know I'm winning. Cause A&R's and everybody's gonna feel this track like I squeezed one in your chest and stole your ass cap. As a matter of fact, to my fans, my rap is crack. Fiending for another line to drop up out my sack. Slacks and lacks don't make a difference in this game, but you gotta sell an image if you wanna make a name. I don't consider myself to be a link in the chain, cause I'm the one who holds the torch and light to the flame. Segregation of our nation, revelations is here. Trials and tribulations that we facing is clear. The end of the world is coming closer by the ear, so you better clean your act. Judgment day is coming near. It's time for me to rise above the superstitious game, hit above the minds that have no skills and always stay the same. I'm on the grind to speak that real and stack up on my chain, so no matter what you say to me, I'm gonna do my thing. Cause it's time for me to rise above the superstitious game, hit above the minds that have no skills and always stay the same. I'm on the grind to speak that real and stack up on my chain, so no matter what you say to me, I'm gonna do my thing.
Put up the black roll, put it on down with a shit in that skill, let it make them bills. With an axe, a pack, and try to make them bills. With a get up on my back just to make them kills. Put up on the full of the top of the game, with a little bit of dirt to survive. Me and name is a hop in the flames, on a drop on the pain, with a real design. But too much for me to slow it down, I've been through it. I knew the day would come when I would just have to do it. Influenced by the highest power, knowledge itself, imbued with psychopathic tendencies for my health. So I plot to knock them down, gotta see what to do when I get my scans. Y'all thought that you could climb, but it seems that you weren't in demand. For all they talking this and that and all of the chatter, the small and simple package broken spit it better. And yeah, y'all might have loot, and yeah, y'all might have hoops, and yeah, y'all might have girlies dancing, sipping gin and juice, but y'all don't have the thing that sets us broken seas apart. No heart, I guess you missing the spark.
It's time for me to rise above the superstitious game, hit above the minds that have no skills and always stay the same. I'm on the grind to speak that real and stack up on my chain, so no matter what you say to me, I'm gonna do my thing. Cause it's time for me to rise above the superstitious game, hit above the minds that have no skills and always stay the same. I'm on the grind to speak that real and stack up on my chain, so no matter what you say to me, I'm gonna do my thing. I'm gonna do my thing. Time for me to rise above the superstitious game, hit above the minds that have no skills and always stay the same. I'm on the grind to speak that real and stack up on my chain, so no matter what you say to me, I'm gonna do my thing.
I thought this show was going to be called What the Fridays. All right, there we go. Greetings from the Hildt. I'm Christopher Hildt.
I'm Jake Pendragon.
Well, and my codename's Logan, but we were going to do something a little fun here real quick. Elfbait was on my impromptu live stream on Wednesday. Well, that's a lot of mic there, Tiger. You can say hello, Tiger.
Hello, Tiger.
Oh, hello, Tiger. Like I said, Elfbait was on my live stream on Wednesday, and he actually gave me my code name, which is the way I was waiting for it. So from now on, I am. Oh, wait, this is right. No. Oh yes, here it goes.
The G.I. Joe Gamer.
Yes, the G.I. Joe Gamer. Let's get this right. So welcome to Fridays from the Hildt. Now that we've got ourselves situated. Got a lot of mic action going there from the Tiger. I don't know what's going on.
I think she has her fan blowing directly into the mic.
Is that what it is?
Oh, you're hearing me. Oh, I'm sorry. It's hot.
No, it's all good. Welcome again.
Is that better?
You got some people watching. Hello, GM Cody.
Is that better?
Red Power Ranger fan
And
27.
Red Power Ranger fan
I
27.
think that's our 2 watchers right now.
Yeah, well,
Nobody's listening. Is it better now?
yes,
That's better.
yes.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Well,
No, it's
today
fine. I
we're
put
just
my
going to jump
voice
right into it. We were going to talk some Highlander today, and we got lots of images to take a look at. So I'm going to put that up on the screen all the way, and I'm gonna make that a little bigger so we can see it, but it's gonna get blurry. That's what bothers me. I don't know why we did that, but because I clicked the wrong thing. That's what. We'll get this straight.
Find higher definition.
Yeah, I know, but it was I have to get what YouTube says I can use, and this image YouTube doesn't have a problem with. Doesn't have a problem with anything I'm using today. But all of these images are going to be in the outro as well, and a little with some music, and that video will be out tomorrow morning. So that'll be fun. All right, so as a starter,
Hell yeah,
Highlander, yes.
Put that up on this.
No, we should do that. I got to remember I can do these things. So what I wanted to do is talk about one of my favorite movies, TV show. Talk about who our favorites are. I wanted to start with this image here because people talk about Darth Vader, but if you've ever watched Highlander, the Kurgan is one of the coolest villains in ever. I mean, it's just the way it is as far as I'm concerned. Kurgan, great villain. Let's get back up here so we can all take a look or see there, so we can also be on the screen. So we'll start with, how about you, Tiger? The Highlander first movie. What are your thoughts?
Honestly, I don't remember when I first saw the first Highlander movie. I'm pretty sure it was before I met you, which was a long time ago.
This is true.
And it wasn't in the theaters for sure. I saw it, I'm pretty sure, on TV. So, that when they put it on TV back then, they cut parts out. So
Right. I watched it on home video in 88, I think, 89 for the first time.
Yeah, I saw the first time I saw it, I'm pretty sure it was on TV, so it had commercials and stuff.
No, I got all the head chopping, gory.
And on that particular one, it wasn't my favorite at the time for sure. But I was much younger and not much into that mythos, as it were. I didn't really like Highlander until I started watching the series.
But that's not what was supposed to happen. Yeah. All right.
That was weird.
Yes, it was. I was supposed
to quit pulling around with the thing.
Oh, I'm having fun with it. I signed on, and I bit the bullet, and I paid for the upgrade, so I'm going to play with it.
He's playing with the premium features.
I'm playing with my toys. What about you, Jake?
Honestly, I need to get back into Highlander. It's been a bit too long, so my memories of it are kind of foggy.
To be over there.
Though I do know that I really liked it.
I got this well, let's put it up here so we can really see it. I got this 2-film set with the Renegade version for Highlander 2. We'll get into that. I want to show that off a bit. But a lot of people badmouth Highlander 2, but we'll get to talking about that a bit. The Renegade version.
That's because it was very confusing.
Well, that's because it was edited very poorly originally, but
yeah, and some of us saw one version and some of us saw another. So everybody's got a different story about Highlander 2, how they went about on that.
This is true.
It's very strange, with the whole shield thing and all that. That was very strange.
Yeah. But when the director, I believe his name is Russell Mulcahy, when he went and redid it and did his director's cut, he called it the Renegade version, and it turned out really good. But let's talk about the first movie before we get into that.
Well, I do think that the Renegade version is definitely better, but it's still a very confusing movie. This
is true. So what are you guys' thoughts on Connor McLeod? Connor McLeod, I mean, he's what got me into liking the Highlander. we'll talk about who my favorite Highlander character is here in a little bit. But unfortunately, it's not Connor, but he's like right up there.
Yeah, Connor's not my favorite either. I liked his master better.
Oh yeah, Juan Sanchez Villalobos Ramirez. Villalobos Ramirez. Yep, we'll talk about him a bit too. But
then again, I like that actor too.
You know what I did like about Connor is he got a girl in every movie, except for the fourth one. But no, did he? I don't know. Maybe he did that one too. But
I believe his girl in the fourth one was killed.
That's a possibility.
Before he even showed up in it. That I believe that's why he was there. He was headhunting.
This is a possibility. It's been a while since I watched the fourth one, even though that's one of my controversially that's one of my favorite movies from the Highlander series. All right, so Jake, what do you think of Connor?
Like I said, my memories of Highlander are cloudy, but I remembered he was cool, and I really isn't that the guy that had a katana, or was that Duncan?
They both had katanas.
Okay,
but they also both had their Highland swords too from their clans.
Mm-hmm.
Same clan, different vintage.
Aren't those claymores?
Claymores, yes. Thank you, Tiger. I was struggling. It was right there.
But yeah, I should get back
You
into
don't call them Highland swords. I'm like, weren't they claymores?
They were swords from the Highlands. The claymore wasn't jumping in my head at the moment.
Ah.
Well, I guess we've run out of things to say about Connor, which is sad because
he's a cool guy.
He's
Sorry, I like weapons, so I got swords on the brain.
Weapons too, which is why I should get back into Highlander, because it has some really well choreographed fight scenes.
So
it really does.
We'll skip over the next images because it's pretty much I put up some Connor shots because this was his movie. Connor. But so we'll continue with talking about Ramirez. It was really cool that Sean Connery actually did the first two movies. I mean, no one thought he would be in the sequel because, spoiler alert, we're talking about a movie that's, almost 40 years old at this point. But Sean Connery's character in the first movie, he gets whacked.
Yeah, see, that was what was weird about the second movie too. Like, what? You can bring a dude back? What?
Like I said, we'll get there, but
it was very strange.
I thought Ramirez actually helped make the first movie. I think without not necessarily Sean Connery, but the character Ramirez. I mean, Sean Connery made it so much better. Let's not kid ourselves. He even did he narrated the intro. So
yeah. So Sean Connery's the only reason why I even watched The Highlander, because I'm an old Sean Connery fan from when I was little. So
I really started liking Sean Connery in the 80s. I think the first movie that actually got me into liking Sean Connery movies was called Outlander, where he was like a marshal on a space station. And I don't remember a lot about that movie, but I remember it was really cool.
Okay, so I think the first movie I ever saw Sean Connery in was something called Darby O'Gill and the Little People, and he was the romantic lead in that. So I
never watched that until I watched it with you years later.
Yeah, I know that, but that's my first Sean Connery movie. After that, I knew him from 007.
007, yeah, I didn't watch the 007 movies till a lot later. The ones I grew up with was the Roger Moore ones, and I wasn't a big Roger Moore fan.
Yeah, my mom was a big 007 fan, so I watched a bunch of those.
We could talk James Bond all day, so let's stick
to topic. Back to Highlander.
Hey, we're talking about the actor in Highlander.
We sure are. Ramirez.
Besides, it's also whatever else we feel like.
This is true. But Ramirez, Sean Connery as Ramirez, and I think he actually had more fun with the second movie. But in the first movie,
he came it seemed like it because they put him in the modern world.
Yep. That was fun. But he came on and he introduced himself in a really interesting way while Connor was making out with his wife, Heather. And that's how he introduced himself. And Comes up, greetings.
Ramirez was my favorite character. Sergio Cody.
You pervert.
Yes, Ramirez is actually my number 2 in the entire series. It's a close second with one of the characters from the series, but okay. So that I think that takes us to, if I remember right, on my slide reel here. It's not really a slide reel, but that's when he was teaching him. I got this shot here. I love that scene. Okay, if your head comes away from your shoulders, it's over. You know, I don't know if that's exactly what he said, but that takes us to, in my opinion, one of the coolest villains ever in a movie anywhere. I mean,
honestly, that's badass armor design from a picture.
Dude, he was terrifying. I just gotta say, he was actually
Clancy Brown,
a very terrifying bad guy. He really was.
Gosh, that's a sword breaker in his hand.
Yes, it is.
He all showed up in the future, in a church, and he just scared the heck out of me. I gotta tell you.
Happy Halloween, ladies. Oh yes. His disguise. I am in disguise. He had safety pins in his throat over his scar.
Exactly. That was just. He was creepy. He scared. He really scared me. That character did scare me.
Yes, yeah, that was his big line to that.
It was one of those times where, like,
remember that.
What was that, Tiger?
It's one of those things where, like, if you were to run into this guy the way he was dressed like that, I'd have been like trying to go into a store or where more people are or something. He was just so terrifying looking. He had such presence.
I agree that Kurgan was an amazing villain. Yes. They talked about how he mentioned something in that movie where, as a child, they would throw the children on the floor with the dogs to fight for scraps. I mean, what kind of upbringing would that turn you into? I mean, obviously
a savage.
A savage, yeah, and he never let that change him either. Modern society, nothing. As far as I'm concerned, the Kurgan was one of the ultimate villains ever. I mean, it's kind of sad that they had to kill him off in the first movie. But if they brought Sean Connery back in the second movie, I was hoping they were bringing him back too. But
it wouldn't have made sense.
No, it wouldn't have.
But it already didn't make sense according to you guys.
Well, no, it didn't. It really didn't.
Well,
it would have been better if he was like, I don't know, an illusion or something.
Yeah, that's true. He could have come back in something like that. But man, but you got to admit, in Highlander 2, the villain for that was cool too. But I didn't get any shots at him. That's the sad part. Michael Ironside was the villain in the second one, and he played General Katana. Got a few more shots. I found some stuff that I liked. Here's that one of the scene when he was in the church where he had his hair shaved, and
that was like his creepiest part.
Right? That's what I'm saying. He creeped the heck out of me, man.
But yeah, in the second movie, so we'll finish up talking about the movies for a bit. With saying that General Katana was an interesting villain. He was just a little over top. Michael Ironside was one of those character actors and character villains that was just really, really cool in no matter what he was in. Whether he was a good guy or a bad guy, and playing General Katana, it seemed like it was just fun for him.
Honestly, I don't remember him as well as the Kurgan. I'm
sorry. And that is the truth.
I barely remember the villain in the second movie. I mean, I remember that they had some weird convoluted thing where they came from the past and went to the future or some junk. I don't even know.
It depends on which version you're watching. Again, it is kind of confusing, but
either one, it doesn't really matter. They send a bunch of dudes through this portal and to get them, and it's like it was already done and over with, but whatever.
This is true.
It's one of those where you're watching it and you're going, man, these bad guys seem like they're stupid.
It really is like the writers and directors of the second movie went, they want us to bring Sean Connery back, but he died in the first movie. But he could be in it, so we're going to do it. you know? And so they're like, okay, so all bets are off. We're just going to do whatever the hell we want in this movie. And they did.
But it
So
didn't make sense.
it was a
just
fun movie. It was fun, though.
so bizarre. It was so
Yes.
bizarre.
Yes, but that's how all the sequels went. The third movie with Mario Van Peebles as Kane, that was weird too. But the series kind of cleaned that up a little bit, especially in the fourth movie, a little bit for me at least. But,
I kind of need a reminder of the third movie. Isn't
Well,
that the one where they introduced the new Highlander?
no, that was the one where Kano. Mako was his name. Was a sorcerer in a cave, and Connor went and learned from him. But then Kane came and killed him and took his head, and then the cave collapsed, and Connor escaped, but Kane was trapped in the cave. So even after Connor had got the gift, Kane came back out, and when he came out, for some reason, suddenly the gift was back on, and the hunt was on. But that was an interesting movie. I like that one.
I think the third movie just disregarded the second one.
That's what all the sequels kind of did, was disregard the first movie. Now the series, though, when it came out, it was really cool. Adrian Paul as the Highlander is my favorite character. I mean, he took to that role like nobody's business. I mean, as an actor, it's kind of sad that he hasn't really done as much as, say, Christopher Lambert did after Highlander. But movie actors back in the 90s and the 80s, they just didn't seem to be able to jump to that big screen very well. But Adrian Paul as Duncan MacLeod, I don't know. I like that show from the get-go.
True.
And I watched it all the way up to the end, even though they left it off in a manner that, I wish that
I watched it because I was a young lady and he was hot.
I'm sure that's why a lot of ladies watched it. But the first episode had Connor coming on there, and the two of them together, I thought the dynamic was really cool. It's like they were.
Oh yeah, that was fun. I liked that crossover. That was actually a really good crossover. It says same clan, different vintage. That was really cool. I really like that.
I love the little practice duels they do together where they'd hit each other in the butt with a sword. It was a lot of fun to see them on screen together, and it was like even Christopher Lambert said, it was like passing the torch to Adrian Paul as the character, and it was Adrian Paul who fought to make Duncan a different character. Originally, they were going to make him Connor in the series, which I don't think would have been as cool, because then we actually got two Highlanders. But
yeah, no, I agree that the way they did it in the series was actually a very brilliant way.
Well, this is
just like you said, was passing the torch. I agree with that. That was clever.
So, Max, having watched the series, what are your thoughts on that?
For me?
Jake, Max.
I thought you said Max. You wasn't paying attention.
You need to watch it again?
I'm sorry. I'm not good commentary right now.
This clip right here.
I need to rewatch the show.
In the fourth or fifth episode, Mark Singer, the guy that played the Beastmaster, and was in the series V. It was an old mini series that turned into a TV series. He was the adversary in that.
Dude, you should do V as a subject once.
Eventually, I hope to get around to a lot of them. But Mark Singer played the bad guy. That's not what I wanted to do. Sorry about that. But yeah,
jumping ahead here.
I wanted to make that a little bigger. Is all I wanted to do. I want to zoom in just a bit.
No, we're jumping ahead.
In that episode, it showed that Duncan had gone and learned tracking from a hermit, and Mark Singer's character had killed the hermit, and he was coming up to visit his friend, and the confrontation between the two of them was pretty cool. No, he wasn't coming up to visit. His girlfriend at the time, Tessa, was up there taking photos because she was an artist. And she got kidnapped by Mark Singer and his mountain men. And that was the name of the episode, I'm pretty sure, was Mountain Men. And Mark Singer had this line where he said the shatters are writhing up and down the walls, and he had such a guttural voice in that. It wasn't Kurgan level, but it was right up there as a villain. Not my favorite villain of the series, but one of the better ones. So I liked how they showed Duncan in all his outdoor like Native American gear. I almost fell back to some old habits on that, but
Yeah, no, I like the flashbacks. They had really interesting flashbacks.
Oh, yeah, the flashbacks
in Highlander. You got to see like different time periods and different dress, and like the writers can have fun with the different time eras to remember.
Well, it's like you can see the character now, like this photo here, and then you could go and you see them how they were 200-300 years ago, and it really was cool. I love the flashbacks. I really love them. It
definitely made the series a lot more interesting than the movies.
Well, the movies had the flashbacks too.
Yeah, but they weren't as interesting. They were just like their origins,
Yeah, it was kind of his backstory, right?
Honestly, the concept of immortal characters really allows character arcs to breathe in a way because of how long they get to live.
Well, also you can kill your character off multiple times, so long as he doesn't lose his head, it's all good.
Yeah, well,
I don't know how
what's
many
really cool is
times-
because you can see him in like the Renaissance era, or you can see
Right.
him in like Old West times, or they had all these different eras that was just so engrossed and fascinating, and you saw how well traveled these characters have been to see all this different history and stuff. So it's really very, very fascinating to watch. It definitely made the series far more interesting to me.
Some of the photos I got of Duncan was just to show some of the different styles that he would wear. But usually it was in the trench coat with the ponytail, which I so wanted a trench coat at that age. I was like,
What are you talking about? You still want a trench coat?
From the Matrix that kind of made the whole swords and trench coat style.
I think after about the third season, though, they had their cast down pat. Because at the end of the first season, they introduced Joe. Richie was in it from the beginning. But they also introduced Mythos. And the oldest immortal, Mythos, he was really cool.
Now, Mythos was one of my favorites, actually. I loved Mythos. He wasn't my ultimate favorite. My ultimate favorite, actually, the actor passed away, which was really, really sad. The priest.
Played Mythos?
Huh?
The guy that played Mythos?
No, not Mythos. The priest.
Oh, the priest, Darius. Yes.
Darius.
Yeah, I
was my
couldn't find any really
favorite.
good pictures of Darius. I would have had to pull them right off my DVDs and stuff. But
Yeah,
this
Darius
guy here,
was my
if you can
ultimate
see
favorite.
that's Mythos.
The one on the right.
Yeah, the one on the far right.
No, yeah, Darius, the actor, passed away too soon.
Oh yeah, and it was
sudden.
Yeah, it was real sudden, and so they actually used that in the series. They had his character die.
It was very that when they did that particular episode where they had him die in the series, it was so emotional. You could tell that the actors felt it even more because they knew that the actor himself was also gone.
Well, that really helps a lot.
I think that grief went through onto the screen, and you could pretty much feel that they also missed and adored him.
Well, Adrian Paul did that scene where he found him and threw the chairs and just basically messed up the church.
Dude, it was so emotional. Especially, it was for me too, because like that was my favorite character.
Darius was really cool. I like Darius a lot, and I like Tessa too from the first season. She continued on to the second season a little bit, and I like I said, I didn't get a lot of pictures of a lot of the cast because I had so many pictures already. I'm like, oh man, I've got too many.
Well, this series does span a good 10, 20 years.
That was 6 years.
No. I meant from first movie to last movie.
Well, yes. Longer than that, actually. Because he actually did a fifth movie. Adrian Paul did 2 movies. Well, the second one went like I think straight to like Sci-Fi Channel or something like that. I don't know if it went in foreign countries if it went to the theaters, but I definitely didn't hear it in the United States. What do you guys think of Richie? I thought he was a neat character.
Honestly, it's an interesting.
He was definitely the quirky teen type character.
Originally, yeah, but once
the little scoundrel.
Once he became an immortal, he actually grew up really fast.
Oh no, I know that. I get it. The transformation from him being this basically a street rat type character into an upstanding young man was actually really nice. I like the progression of that.
In the first season, I really didn't care for his character.
We weren't supposed to, I don't think.
I don't think you were either. But yeah, the actor, it's really sad.
Like I said, when he started, he was a little punk.
He's no longer with us either.
Yeah.
Sadly, he's one of the few that it was the younger and is no longer with us. But he seemed to excel when you put a sword in his hand. I like this pick of him. I tried to find a good one of the major cast.
Yeah, when he left the show, the series got a little weird. So
yeah, it did. So thoughts on Richie, Jake?
Well, to be fairly honest, it's an interesting spin. Like, you see the trope of master apprentice, that type of thing, because he does become Connor's apprentice.
Duncan's son. Duncan's, not Connor's.
Duncan, my bad. Again, way too long. But it's like typically when you have a master apprentice relationship, the apprentice is the main character and the master eventually dies. But honestly, the roles have been flipped with these two characters in this dynamic, and I find that to be interesting because it's like Richie isn't the main character.
Right.
And typically when you have an apprentice master, the apprentice is usually the main character, but nope.
It was nice to see Duncan in that role though, because he went from in the first episode being a former student of Connor's to being a teacher.
Yeah. On that note, though, the reason why Richie had to leave is because unlike Duncan, who still looked the same age, Richie started to look older than Duncan, and they were like, okay, we got to do something about that.
Well, that wasn't a factor from what.
Well, if they had like right nowadays, they have that de-aging technology.
Yeah.
So if they had the technology back then, that would not have been an issue.
No.
But they didn't have it the way that they have it now. Like right now, you can watch like Star Wars. They had what's his name show up, and it was like, oh my gosh, it looks just like when he was a kid or whatever.
Mark Hamill, yeah.
Mark Hamill, yeah. They had Mark Hamill show up on Star Wars, and you're like,
a Mandalorian. Yeah. Which we'll probably do an episode on that too. I love that show. Not so much the third season as much as the first two, but
I love the first season the best. But yeah, like I said, they had him show up on that, and the de-aging technology that we have right now is so incredible. If it existed back then, they would not have had an issue with Richie getting too old looking.
This is true. One of the more interesting characters actually did show up on the first season, but in one episode, and then she came back on the second season and was kind of like a series regular after that, and that was Amanda.
Yeah, she had her own series called The Raven.
Yeah, that was they were trying to find a spinoff in the sixth season.
I didn't find it as interesting.
That's why they decided to go with her. Well, she was having a lot of emotional problems in real life at that time.
Yeah, which is probably why her series didn't do so well, because it was not as interesting.
It was kind of sad because she was a very interesting character.
Oh, yeah, Amanda definitely was an interesting character. And even though I did not care for the haircut on the first episode, the actress is right. Amanda would have done that.
Yes, she would. Yeah. Well, actually,
she surprised the producers and stuff when she appeared like that, but I was like, nope, that's a very Amanda thing to do, guys.
She did that with her hair on the last episode of the TV series of Highlander, the Highlander series.
Yeah.
It was kind of neat though. It was different.
I'm like, that's a what is it? A thing where the actress or the actor knows the character better than the people writing it.
Yeah, Elizabeth Grayson was the name of the actress who played her, and I think she's an underrated actress. Because some of the things she did on that show and her acting quality was really shined through in that series. I thought, at least.
Yes, she definitely played the strong female character there.
Well, they didn't have any of those back. Oh, I better not say.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna get in trouble. Shame on you.
Jump into that bandwagon.
Shame on you.
You know what? Who I really liked on the series that I don't have a pick for, unfortunately, was Amanda's mentor, Rebecca.
Oh yeah, Rebecca was cool.
She was a neat character. I liked her a lot.
You know the character that I liked. I know she was only a one shot, but the one who played Nefertiti.
Oh yeah. That was cool.
I really liked her. I know she was just a one shot in one episode, but she was really an interesting character. They put in ancient Egypt kind of mythos in that, and that was really cool.
And again, on the last episode of the first season, they introduced Joe. Well, they did a lot of stuff on that season finale.
Right? They introduced the Watchers. That was actually very interesting.
Joe Dawson, played by Jim Burns. Joe Dawson, the actor Jim Burns, the character is really cool, but I think the actor's story is very interesting too. He was a Vietnam vet. He didn't in real life. He didn't have legs. He lost his legs in the war, and he actually had prosthetics and would walk around.
I did not know that.
Yes, he's a great singer too. They had him sing a lot of.
Oh yeah, he was a good singer.
Several episodes.
Yeah.
He actually, as a tie-in to some of the stuff that we do, he was a voice actor in the Deke G.I. Joe cartoon series, and he actually helped put together the intro for that. So he was part of that, which is kind of cool. But
the more you know.
What do you think of Joe Dawson, Jake?
I don't have much of an opinion. I need to rewatch.
You sure do, because man, Joe. He was there from the end of the first season till the end.
Okay, so Joe turned out to be like the sounding board for Duncan. He was the you first meet him running a bar.
Yeah.
And so Duncan came to him and talked to him like a normal, a lot of people go to the bar and they talk to the barman like they're a counselor of some sort.
Well, on the show,
kind of a role.
When he first met Joe was actually running a bookstore.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And then he went and bought the bar, but he definitely it fit the actor, I think, more than the character. But then it just kind of rolled right into it very nicely, I think.
I remember him with the bar more than I forgot he had a bookstore.
Well, it was like they're like, okay, we don't like this idea. Let's go with the bar. That works better.
Yeah, I think it did too. The bar definitely worked way better than the bookstore. I barely remember the books. Like until you mentioned it just now, I forgot completely about it.
It kind of makes me wonder if the actor Jim Burns actually said, "Hey, can we have Joe in a bar instead?" I kind of like to sing the blues,
Yeah. I definitely like that idea a lot better.
What's up,
Elfbait? Hi.
Welcome, Elfbait. All right, we're talking some Highlander stuff, Elfbait. And we're moving on to the next character in the series, my favorite. Duncan, Ramirez, and then Mythos. That's the way I kind of group it.
I like Mythos too. They made him the oldest immortal on the show, but he also had especially when it came to relationships, an innocence about him. It was very strange mix there.
Elfbait says, "You mean the franchise with only one movie?" It's a joke. Okay, I get where you're coming from. However, I'm a bigger fan of Duncan than Connor, so I actually like the fourth movie where most people don't.
I like the movies. The only movie I didn't really care for was the second one, but it was just too weird.
Again, they just kind of disregarded the previous movie with every movie they made.
It's kind of true. You kind of have to fill in the blanks on your own.
Well, I enjoyed the series too, Elfbait. It was one of my favorite TV series. It's hard to pick a favorite of anything. You know, a favorite book, favorite TV series, but that's definitely one of mine.
Well, it shows up and the chat goes popping.
Well,
Actually, Chris likes this series so much. He's put in our. It's just a thing that we do. It's not part of our main system or anything for Lenharrow, but
sorry, Tiger.
well, I'm not looking at the comments. I'm watching. I'm doing the thing we're supposed to be doing.
Hey, comments
Anyways,
is part of it.
No, I know he put in this system where you can actually play an immortal in Lenharrow.
Well, you can play any kind of immortal. I mean,
No. I mean, like the actual head chopping thing. You came up with a system to do the whole head chopping thing. Yeah, it gets a little crazy, but it is kind of fun to do every once in a while.
But
We've actually run head chopping tournaments before, so
yeah, that could be kind of fun. But you know, then you're basically getting player versus player, and I'm not a big fan of player versus player. But
no, but it does let the players blow off some steam with each other once in a while. We just do a tournament where they're like fighting. We don't start them off fighting each other, of course. We start them fighting off like other characters or whatever, and eventually it whittles down to player versus player. But it still lets the players let off some steam, like maybe they had some issue with each other. I just know that when we've done head chopping tournaments, the gamers seem to have settled down a little bit afterwards. Like if we're having too much tension and we do a head chopping tournament, the tension seems to go away. Like, okay, we all we cut off each other's heads or whatever, and then we go back to normal gaming.
this is true.
Not so much now, though. We got good gamers now, but before we had I don't know. They were adults, but they acted like children. I felt like I was for a while there. I felt like I was running a elementary school or something. Like you like to say 6 months of grudge matches. It's like really, are we this childish, guys? It's just a game.
A lot of players are. They really are.
It's terrible. But the gamers we got now, they're a lot more mature, which is funny because they are young people. But
it does seem to work that way, where sometimes the younger guys are more mature than the older ones.
Yeah, none of the gamers we have right now are like that. They're very respectful, very kind, very nice, good role players.
This is true. I like having good role players in our group. What I liked about Mythos, though, getting into good role playing, this actor played that role really well. And when they went and did the Four Horsemen bit, and it came out that he was Death, I thought he portrayed that really, really well. And the actor himself kind of looks like this guy who would do no harm. And
right.
What's funny in real life, after he did the series and acting, he actually became a doctor in real life.
Oh. Cool.
Yeah, Peter Wingfield. He's actually Dr. Wingfield now.
Cool.
I don't know if he uses if he had a different stage name or not, but in real life he became a doctor. Which I thought
it did seem like he had some kind of a switch. He was a very good actor because, like you said, he would always have this like innocent looking, harmless face, but then it was like he had a switch, and you're like, oh, geez, wow, he's a bad guy.
He could play the bad guy really well. And that carried over into the fourth and fifth movie a little bit more so in the fifth movie, but we don't talk about Bruno.
Don't say that. That's copyright.
I didn't. You can say what you want. I mean,
you're almost saying.
I didn't. I can sing it. I just can't play it. Yeah. Well, let's see what we got next, because we went and I did the whole. We did the whole TV series bit, and I wanted to show Amanda with the platinum blonde hair, because that was weird to me. I did want to talk a bit about the anime Highlander.
That was badass. I'm a big fan of anime.
I've only seen it once though. I've only watched it the one time. I've got the DVD around here somewhere, and I've been meaning to watch it again. I think it's in the other room with all of stuff, my favorite stuff. But
they put it in like a super futuristic kind of world, so almost post-apocalyptic kind
It
of.
really was, yes. It was fascinating that they took the Highlander concept and let them run with it, because he was a totally different character. I don't know if he was even a McLeod. I don't remember.
I don't remember either, but I do know that the animation was amazing. The story was cool. It was definitely fascinating. If you like anime, that was a really cool take on Highlander anime style. They did a really good job, I thought.
It makes me want to watch it again.
Why not? It's pretty cool.
It's been a long time. I think I watched it when it came out, and then I had it on the shelf, and I just haven't got back to it.
What?
Did you ever see it?
No.
We'll have to watch it.
Start watching Highlander from the beginning.
We can do that.
Yeah, you can watch this anime, Max, and it has nothing to do with the series or the movies. The only mythos it has in there is the whole head chopping thing.
They did have an animated series.
It was this one was a standalone story.
They did have an animated TV series of Highlander, but honestly, I've never watched it. I wanted to, because supposedly Ramirez was one of the main characters. And with a younger McLeod, I never could get into it. I saw it and I was like, I don't know. Animation style wasn't for me. But that kind of rounds out.
I think that was geared more towards kids.
Right.
You're talking about the Highlander, the cartoon series?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that was geared more towards kids. I don't think I watched any of that either.
For me, I was like, how can you translate this into a kid's show?
Right?
How do you do a head chopping immortal thing for kids?
Yeah, that's why I didn't watch it.
First decapitation.
I'm pretty sure they
interest
took
in
that
it
aspect
whatsoever.
out of it.
But how do you do Highlander without that?
I think what it was is like they were on their home planet of it was kind of a Highlander 2 takeoff, which is probably why it didn't do very well. But I threw some of these picks from those movies up. Like I wanted to talk about that silly scene where they were in the past getting shoved into the future or another world. I don't know. But I did like Highlander Endgame, so I was meaning to jump to that. So there we are. There's the cover of that. A lot of people have issues with this.
Wasn't the big draw of that movie like Connor versus Duncan?
You know, Cody, I never actually got to play the video game.
There was a video game?
Right? I'm like, there's a video game?
They were going to do a video game, and I thought it was canceled. So I'm going to have to look that up now, because I was pretty sure.
Did not. What was the video game
gosh,
on?
what's it on?
So are you joking with us, Cody?
Right? What was it on? Was it a PlayStation or Xbox or what?
No, I do have. I did mean to talk to it. Talk
to the game.
Talk about it.
Talk to that game. You tell
Talk
that
to the game.
Well, I got to skip ahead here, because I meant to mention it, because I have a pick from that, and we can sit here and talk Highlander stuff all day long, as far as I'm concerned. But there was a pick from the video game that I had found, and it was my understanding. I know you're not kidding. But back in the old days, somebody woke up a pretty robust set of rules for playing Immortals. And a friend of mine actually sent me a copy of that, and they put it in a 3-ring binder in plastic sleeves. I never actually did get to check it out, and I don't know if I even still have it.
Oh, Commodore 64 and Sega CD.
Oh, you're talking the older ones.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't even know they had those. That's cool. That's something to look into.
What's a Commodore 64?
What's a Commodore 64?
Are you being funny?
No, what is that?
You're from the 80s.
From that
I
time.
know, but I don't know. I've never heard of a Commodore. I know what a Sega
what would
CD
be
is.
equivalent nowadays?
I don't know what a Commodore is. I never heard of it.
Computer.
It was a home computer, but they also did video games on it. It was kind of a console computer combo thing.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he was joking. It's a trash game. I don't know. I wouldn't mind trying it, even if it is trash.
That was something I'd never heard of. It's a computer, not a console.
So it was on Sega CD. Okay.
Yeah, it was. That one was, but the Commodore 64 was a computer. Exactly.
Okay.
Elfbait has pointed that out. But it did a lot of console type stuff. Yeah, it was. It was 64-bit back in the 80s.
Yeah, I wasn't into computers when I was younger. I was into the computer system, like Nintendo and stuff like that.
It was big, yes, yes.
But not so much on computers. I mean, I think the best I did was an Apple computer, and that was at school, and we played Oregon Trail.
Right. Oregon Trail, man.
Speaking of,
I've tried to forget that.
Yeah, dude, I love that game.
Honestly, I've been seeing a remake of Oregon Trail on Switch that I want to pick up eventually.
Battle Chess was my ultimate favorite game on the computer, especially when you took the rook and went against the queen, and the rook ate the queen. That was fun. I would do that on purpose.
GM Cody says he loved the Commodore and still has one that he fires up.
Lucky.
I never did get to play on the Commodore. I never had one, and no one I knew had one. It was always that elusive system for me, and I wanted one, and I ended up getting an Aquarius. I bet nobody's heard of that.
What?
Well, it was kind of like it was very similar to the Commodore in some ways, but it was more of a console. But it was a computer. The Aquarius. It was in television from Mattel, and somebody had given me one of those. So that it shows my age a little bit.
Honestly, if you were going to put Highlander into a video game, wouldn't it just be like a fight game or something? Like, how would you translate that into a game anyway?
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
Well, every boss would be an immortal fight.
That's what I'm saying. Wouldn't it just be a big fight game?
It could be, but
it could be a turn-based
like
RPG.
You could make it an RPG. Yeah, I could see that happen.
So cool. You have to sit there and like every boss fight would have to be some way involving trying to expose their weak spot to do head chopping. That would be such a cool concept.
I don't know about that. Like I said, it sounds like it would be like a fight game or something. I'm not real big on fight games. They're all pretty much the same.
I agree with you, Elephant. Highlander would make a good adventure game if done properly. And that's the sad
maybe if they
part.
do like in the past, like Lord of the Rings. If they did like the Lord of the Rings ones,
right?
That was fun. You could play if they had that kind of style, and you could do it like go through the ages. Like you can do swords in like the medieval times, or do guns in like the Renaissance type or whatever, and then you could do a cowboys type thing. That'd be kind of fun.
Well, Elfate's talking about putting a Highlander into a good adventure game, saying that the movie and show worked with missions, NPCs, then fights. I think they could even do flashbacks, incorporate that into there. And then Cody put up here, the old Sega CD game was probably the worst game ever.
I don't know. There's a lot of
like
angry
E.T.
video game nerd that says what's bad.
I heard E.T. was the worst.
Hello,
I've never played it. There could be only one.
Cody thinks he can make a good RPG, campaign RPG. I know what that means. It's just not coming to me right now.
What's the C part?
What does C mean? Combat RPG?
Maybe.
If it's combat, I think the
Would
term
it be a campaign?
is action RPG.
Campaign RPG, maybe. He said, "Nah, ET is the worst."
No, ET is blown way out of proportion.
The worst game ever, ET? I don't know. It wasn't that bad.
Well, anyways.
We got Mage's Musings. Jim Cody was telling us about that there was a computer RPG for Highlander on the Commodore 64, and the other one he said was a Sega CD game, I think. But he said that was probably the contender for the worst game ever.
Yeah, I've never played it. I didn't even know there was a video game. I gotta say though,
I think that kind of ends
we've been having so much fun with this that we're already nearing the end of the stream.
Wow, we can sit and talk for a while, man.
That's true. Did you have any more picks on us, or we're good on that?
I kind of skipped through the last ones. They were mostly from Endgame, but it works. We talked long enough about Highlander. I think that's our most engaging conversation about our topic yet.
Well, that's because all of us have seen it and know something about it.
Right.
That's why. Yeah, some of the subjects you picked, only one or two of us have seen it or know anything about it. When you pick something, everybody's got like a little bit of it. Then they can all jump in and talk about it and see what they like about it and stuff.
This is why I like to do this, so we can talk about things we love and hang out and just have a good time. What I did want to talk about today before we took off was Cobra Convergence 7. That's going on for G.I. Joe fans. Hooded Cobra Commander 788 from YouTube. He's also got a website, which is linked down below, that has the entire schedule for this month for Cobra Convergence. What everybody's doing is putting out some videos based on Cobra. And specifically, I'm actually doing quite a few of those. I've got tomorrow. I'm actually doing a Firefly video. I kind of do a preview on Mondays and then an actual video, which I give my opinion on the character and look at some of the figures and stuff. And those are what I call my Joe takes. Those are a lot of fun to do. So I'll be putting one up Firefly tomorrow. So that's what's going on as far as for our G.I. Joe on the show. But we had some stuff going on this week for Lenharrow, and I'm going to turn that over to Jake for his Lenharrow After Action report.
Not sure what all I could talk about.
Session 0.
I know. We were making characters for her Ravagers of Carnage campaign, which is really going to be exciting because this is going to be the first full-blown campaign that we are doing completely online.
Across states.
Across states, too, yeah.
Okay, so Carnage is a world that, well, it's part of the Lenharrow world, but it's in a frozen, almost wasteland with small communities that have gathered together because, in a frozen wasteland, that's kind of what would happen. People would try to huddle together to keep warm, kind of thing, and survive together.
So. We're going to be doing that game every other Monday night on From the Hildt. We had our session 0 this week, and in 2 weeks we're going to have our session 1, where we're still finishing up characters and I'm writing a bunch of intros for the characters.
What you have so far is so good so far.
Yeah, so we got all our characters set up. The other thing about Carnage is kind of like that one, was it the Baldur's Gate, the one with the winter? I can't remember. Neverwinter.
Oh, yes, Neverwinter.
It's very similar to Neverwinter, except we have a vast wasteland of nothing but, like, it's a frozen glacier.
Yeah, it's very, very similar to that in a lot of ways, but it's kind of trapped by the glacier and a mountain range and the ocean. And it's isolated. That's what makes it interesting. But yet it's a tundra. I did want to mention and put a thank you out there to Elfbait, who came on my show on Wednesday morning. He helped me. He basically gave me my new code name of the G.I. Joe Gamer. Thanks for helping me come up with that. I don't know if you even realized you did, but appreciate it, man. So yes, the characters in the Carnage Session 0, everybody got their characters put together really well. I'm gonna put it up there. You got me sidetracked. Appreciate it though. That's what makes these live streams fun. I'm really enjoying doing the live streams, especially when people show up and help talk.
I was not aware of that.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'll give you credit. Credit where credit's due. So yeah, we're gonna be doing that the Carnage campaign. And that should be a lot of fun. Our Haven's Run game, we do at home. But we're
going to live stream the Carnage game too, right?
The Carnage game, yes. Session 1 will be on From the Hildt every other Monday.
Session 0, that would be kind of such a big tease to sit there and be like, this is our Session 0, and then not do the rest of it live.
yeah, that would be wrong. That's why we did that, because we were going to. Well, the other thing is...
I wasn't clear myself. I'm sorry. I was just making sure.
That happens. Well, Elfbait says, apparently I named my friend's game store without knowing it.
Oh, Red.
He's a good name giver. Anybody else need a good name here? Elfbait's offering.
Well, what had happened was he said, "You're the GI Joe guy for the." And I said, "But I'm trying to be a gamer too." So that's kind of how that came about. But it seemed to fit me, so I'll go with that. GI Joe gamer. I like that.
You're the GI Joe gamer guy.
That'd be my code name now. GI Joe gamer.
Is that gonna be your GI Joe code name?
Yeah. So we got the Carnage stuff going on. We got the we were talking about Cobra Convergence, which on my show that we're doing a series called Operation Dungeon Siege. So I'm having some fun with that there. Tiger and Jake are helping me do a lot of the photography, even though I did it all this week.
Sorry, you need to get me when I'm not asleep.
This is true, but we had forgotten to do it yesterday, so I had to do it all today. We'll throw that up there. Was there anything else you guys wanted to add? We're gonna be signing off here.
I don't know. What's our subject next week?
Our subject. That's a good question. Bring it up next week. The subject, I'm pretty sure, and let me double check my agenda. Okay, exactly. That's exactly what it is. I am doing G.I. Joe as Stargate as G.I. Joe. That's going to be the topic next week.
Stargate as G.I. Joe.
How that would work if
That would be interesting.
What if G.I. Joe?
Talk about Stargate.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Stargate, and we're going to talk about
Stargate, G.I. Joe, and how to put it together.
How to put it together, but what would happen if General Hawk was given the Stargate?
Dude, that sounds like the most badass fan fiction crossover of all time.
So does that mean that Cobra got a hold of the other Stargate?
Right on, Elfbait.
Dude, that would be so
yes,
cool.
that's kind of what I was doing. We're just going to spitball how that would work, is if G.I. Joe took over the Stargate, and talk about both series, because I love both shows, and I couldn't decide which one I wanted to talk about, so I was like, why not both? We'll give Red there a little bit of a nod today.
Kitty smile.
That's because Red's the cat man.
Red always plays a cat man. He's playing a cat man in my Carnage game too.
Much to your I dare you to play anything other than a cat man type of deal.
Yeah, in defiance of all that.
I hate to tell you this, guys, but he is a cat man.
Anyway, on Wednesday, I'm going to be doing a second episode of Lenharrow stuff. We're going to be talking about how we make characters and how that works in our game system. I also wanted to show off. I better do it because I said I was going to. So let me put this up so everybody can see. I got my creature guide, and it's just a little.
I'm sorry. I saw the comment on.
Now this is for our Lenharrow. And Shannon's artwork, the Tiger's artwork, is really cool. I've always loved this artwork. I didn't want to change that for the cover of the creature guide. And it's got a creature generator in the front, and then pretty much after that, it's all creatures. I wanted to have some more art in here. It just didn't work out that way. However, Katie Robbins, who's also playing in the Carnage game, is doing a makeover for our entire system. I have a Lenharrow Player's Guide Light Edition coming out that she's done. That is it's very sweet. So we'll be taking a look at all that kind of stuff every Wednesday from now on. I'm going to be doing a live stream on Wednesday mornings talking about Lenharrow stuff. I know
it looks like everybody likes your idea of Stargate and G.I. Joe.
I like coming up with their own fan fiction.
It sounds like fun, and you guys can either bug us in the chat, which we love, or come on, because I'll put the link up on the Discord for Lenharrow Adventures Guild, which is I've found it to be the Discord to be very useful. I had a conversation about that with Gaming with ADHD this morning. He doesn't like Discord that much, so we've got Elfate saying all we need is Serpentor getting taken over by a ghoul.
Yeah, I was mentioning that earlier. That sounds cool.
Perfect. I did. I kind of heard that. And then we got Galogulus versus the ancient Egyptian aliens for Mage's Musings. I would like that too. See, we can spitfire a whole bunch of stuff, and like with Highlander, just sit here and talk about it for the whole hour. I mean, what more do we need? I'll pick out some images and
Codename ET.
got us on that one, Elfmate. Thank you. Asgardian joints.
Oh no.
That would be Thor. That would be Thor.
I like Thor. He's my favorite.
What would Colonel Shepard's code name be?
Colonel Shepard? Shepard? You mean Colonel O'Neill?
O'Neill. Yeah.
Shepard. There was a Colonel Shepard on the Atlantis series. So that's probably where you got that.
Yeah, my brain.
Hey, I think you guys are jumping into next session already.
It looks like, yeah, we are definitely down to talk about
Don't you
G.I. Joe is Stargate is G.I. Joe.
Jumping into soon.
Yes, yeah, we got lots of stuff to do. Next week I'll be on Bears game against Darkmaster. That should be fun. And Cody's going to be in that with me, so we're looking forward to that. I know I am, at least.
I'm sorry, that just looked too complicated for me. I don't want to do that.
Oh my gosh.
You know, it is a complicated game system, but it looks like I like a lot of the charts they have for against the Darkmaster, so it's not something I want to get into right now, but it has its high points and its low
I
points.
tried explaining the combat system and it made my brain turn into goo.
Don't worry. Chris has always said that it doesn't matter what the game system is. It's all about the game master knowing his stuff.
This is
and
true.
being a good storyteller.
I've watched Bear
So
run it,
we've
and he
had
definitely
people
knows his
play
stuff.
different systems that we didn't care for, but they were awesome game masters. So it made the game fun.
Let's see. Elfbait says the only Stargate character I ever made and never got to play was a World War II bomber pilot from one of the flights that ran into Foo Fighters during the war and disappeared. And that would be kind of cool.
Interesting.
And then he says he was brought back by the Asgardians that took him and joined the team, a la Captain America, man, out of time. Yeah, that works.
So cool.
That works. And it's been
That does
done
sound
in before, Sergeant Savage. So, you know, not that many people know about that one, but
I do like those airplanes with the teeth. Those were cool.
Yes, they were. That was for the G.I. Joe Extreme with Sergeant Savage. That was some definitely weird times for the G.I. Joe action figures and stuff. The late 90s.
How come we don't design our airplanes nowadays like that? That's so cool.
Who knows, man?
They paint cool things on their airplanes all the time in World War II.
That is a $16 million aircraft. You can't put teeth on that.
Why not paint it?
I don't know. I think as a commanding officer, I'd be like, put what you want on it. If it looks cool, if it doesn't look cool, you can't have it. But
they used to put like a lady with her legs out and stuff, sitting on the side in a red dress.
GM Cody has been doing a series on Rollmaster on his channel. Check that out. Elfate's got a channel. Check that out. Mage's Music's got a channel. Check him out. So, thanks for being here, guys.
Plug them all. Plug them all.
We definitely got to get going. We've got over the hour. Appreciate y'all being here. We should have some fun next week talking Stargate is G.I. Joe or G.I. Joe is Stargate, however you want to say it. Well, I'll have it locked down by next week. So, thanks for coming, and I hope you had a good time. Logan out. We're going to end the broadcast.
You forgot your end video.